y'all ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on the Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do. We would love to have you guys. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music. I always appreciate that. You guys, please follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You guys can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com. That's my website. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress, where I have some awesome shows, live shows every Wednesday at 1 p.m., Thursday at 8 p.m. That's Eastern time. Okay. And also, y'all can find me here every Saturday and Sunday at Spaced Out Radio, 10 p.m. All right. So if you'd like to support the work that I'm doing, you guys can join my Patreon. That's the Cryptid Huntress over there on Patreon. And also, I have a shop. It's called War Woman Goods. That's on Etsy. And you can also find some of my goods on my website. Okay. Well, I have a fantastic guest here at Spaced Out Radio tonight. I have the Jerimiah Fountain in the studio tonight. And don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has a fantastic show set up for us. So be sure to head over there as soon as this show is over tonight. All right, y'all, let's get to our guest. Jerimiah Fountain comes from a logging family and lives in the Adirondacks of upstate New York. He lives on the family plot of land, which is inhabited by a group of 6 to 8 Sasquatch. In addition to other entities, Jerimiah traveled the world during his career as an MMA fighter. During this time, he took advantage and learned about cryptids and entities known in other parts of the world. His ancestors were part of the Mohawk tribe of the Adirondacks. He's a hunter, fisherman, survivalist, and most of all, 20-year veteran as a cryptozoology researcher. He's also a paranormal investigator with a specialization in Sasquatch investigation and Dogman research. He's had several experiences, including 4 up-close sightings of Sasquatch, as well as other sightings of various cryptids. He's researched all over the East Coast and Northern California. He runs 2 podcasts, and that's On the Trail in Search of Living Legends and the Cryptid Consortium, formerly known as the Skookum Session Bigfoot Roundtable. He's a founder of a research team comprised of some close teammates called Paranormal and Cryptid Crossroads Research, and the Facebook group On the Trail Cryptid Paranormal Research Group. You guys, please go check him out and subscribe over on YouTube and watch his show. My guest from last week, Nick Valente, is his co-host. So please help me welcome to the show tonight, Mr. Jerimiah Fountain.
Jess,
hey, Jerimiah.
How's it going?
Oh my gosh, it's going great. It's going great.
Good.
You know, I just got in from the woods, so
yeah.
I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. It's been a while.
It is. Well, we missed you. I wanted to have you on last weekend with Nick. You guys have a fantastic show that y'all do together. Not only are you interviewing boots on the ground researchers and experiencers, but now you guys have taken another approach with a different show.
Yes.
Where you guys are talking about different cryptids from all over the world and highlighting them.
Yeah. More or less known cryptids, you know, other than Dogman and Sasquatch and the regulars. This week we're doing the Fresno crawler. So that should be interesting.
Oh, that's great. You know what? I actually gave Nick a recommendation too. I really want you guys to talk about the Kushtaka. That's something that I looked into.
Kushtaka. So okay. Yeah.
Kushtaka. Yeah, y'all do that one sometime.
We can get that.
I would love that. Yeah.
We can do that for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've looked into the Fresno night crawlers before. That's a really cool one. They look like bell-bottom pants ghosts. Yeah. Right.
Very, very, very odd. Very strange. Yeah.
Well, they're actually quite benevolent compared to the things that you've encountered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's for
they
sure.
have. Well, okay, so Jerimiah, let's kind of backtrack a little bit because you have done a lot. Like you're a pretty well-known MMA fighter, okay?
Yeah.
You did some fighting, UFC kind of stuff. Yeah. And you traveled the world doing it, and you got a good dose of a lot of stuff across the world, like cryptids wise.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yep.
Were you in North Carolina when you had some encounters?
Yes. Everyone, when I go on other shows, I've always talked about my experiences up here in the Adirondacks where I am right now. Um, this is actually the first show where I'm going to be concentrating on my encounters and experiences in North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Strictly North Carolina. So yeah, it's the first show where I
World
talk about it.
exclusive.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, it was. We were in Eastern North Carolina. We moved there in the summer of 2019, and immediately, my son and I checked out an area. It was an old train trestle. Okay, and it went down the railroad tracks and got into the swamp pretty deep. And I started seeing sign right away, Sasquatch sign. The first day my son and I were out there, we found a nice set of tracks, not too big, about 14 inches. Just, two right by the water. I'm guessing it's either fishing or, drinking water. So from that point on, Stacy and I started going down there regularly to investigate. The first night we went down there, it was about dusk, and we took a walk down the river. And on our way back, we could hear something pacing us out to the left of us. Okay. And I thought I saw a face for a second. So I took out my camera, took a picture. Lo and behold, as I'm looking at the picture after, you can clearly, distinctly see two sets of red eyes staring at us. So
Wow.
it followed us out from where we were, all the way back to the main road. There was actually, you can see like I said, two sets of eyeballs in the brush just staring at us. And I'm sure they were benevolent. They weren't, messing with us or anything. Thank God. But yeah, from that point on, things just accelerated. Things went wild. People out there probably gonna think I'm crazy tonight, but yeah, I'm used to it.
You actually have a picture of it, right? Is this the picture that I have that I can show the audience tonight?
Yeah, you have the picture in the video of
Okay.
the reptilian thing. But yeah, what happened? Yeah, that's okay. I can start with this particular night right here.
Okay.
We were out in the swamp, and we were sitting there under the bridge. My daughter, myself, Stacy, and one of my daughter's friends. We start hearing bipedal movement in the water in the bayou, and there was quite a few of them, you could tell. And all of a sudden, we see eyes light up, and this is one set of eyes we saw, which were red. The others were fluorescent blue, and which was absolutely, I think, yep, you got that one too. That's another one we took. And it was just wild. So as I put my phone down for a second, and I was actually texting Nick to tell him, hey, we're getting some action out here tonight. So as I'm texting, I hear my daughter let out I could tell she was scared. She let out oh my God. And I said, what, honey, what's wrong? And she just points, and I look across the creek underneath the trestle, and up this incline is a big male gray Sasquatch. And I lit him right up with the spotlight. He turned, looked at us, showed us those big fluorescent blue eyes, turned his head, and he kept walking. He didn't pay us any mind. One interesting thing I have to mention is, like I said, he was gray, number one. Number two, totally built different than what I deal with up here. Looked more Neanderthal looking than the ones I deal with up here in the Adirondacks.
Kind of a type 4 Sasquatch is what we call those.
Yeah, I would say it's
like a wild man.
Yep, like a type 4. Yep, exactly.
And with blue glowing eyes. That's odd. I've never seen blue glowing eyes.
Yeah, fluorescent blue. Yeah, it was.
And you have a picture of it. That's cool.
That's the first time I had seen blue eyes myself, so it kind of shocked me. But some of them were red, which was also very interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he was good size. Like I said, he looked different than what I deal with up here. But as he's walking up the hill, I I'm looking at him, and his deltoids were like cannonballs, absolute cannonballs.
Really?
Yeah, low. I mean, obviously, people say, "Oh, there was no neck," but they have a neck. It's just hidden behind all the muscle, the trapezius muscles, hide that neck very well. So I'd say just from front to back, from what I could do, we were only, granted, across this creek, it's only about 50 feet away. Okay, so he was nice and close. From chest to his back, I would say he had to have been at least 3 feet from back to front, width wise.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Vegetation. We went back the next day and measured the vegetation. That measured out at 7.3 feet in some spots, and it would vary in others. But I could see about 2 to 2.5 feet above the vegetation. So I got a good view of his chest, upward. His head wasn't conical; it was kind of in between round and conical.
Okay.
At some points where the brush would open up, I could see his arms, and the type 4s, we all know, are built a little bit different than, say, the type 1s, type 2s. They're more proportionally built like us. And, that's what I found over the years with all the reports I've taken on the type 4s, because we do have type 4s here, not exactly where I am, but more in the St. Lawrence Seaway Valley on the reservation and stuff. There's the type 4s, and that's what it was. It was a type 4.
That's a big one too.
Yeah, he was a very big boy. Yeah, and at spots where one spot it opened up and you could see his belly, and if any normal person other than researchers like ourselves would look at him, they would say, "Oh my God, look at the beer belly on him." But you can tell that
was it protruding?
What's that?
Oh yeah, it was like a protruding belly, like a big
protruding belly. Yes,
he was eating good.
He was eating good, but you could tell
or drinking too much. I don't know, maybe drinking too much.
Yeah, one or the other. But yeah, he didn't pay us any mind really. He walked up the incline and walked across the old railroad tracks and disappeared into the brush. And that was that, for that night. And then, following that, things progressively got more weird. We started finding more tracks. I casted, God, when I was down there, that's nice. When I was down there, we casted so many sets of tracks. It was unbelievable.
Oh, you did?
All the way from 8 inches to 19 inches. Now, what the event that happened after that? Okay, I'll get to the reptilian part in a little bit, but
okay, take your time.
The next part I'll hit up is we went out. Stacy and I went out by the riverbank. Okay, there was a trail. Once you got under the bridge, there was a trail that led to the left, and you'd walk about 2 miles down, and you could pick up the big part of the river where it was about 80 feet across.
Okay.
So it's starting to get dusk, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, a boulder comes flying over from the other side of the river. Bang! Splashes right in front of our feet, and it hit so hard, Jess, you could hear that rock hit rocks on the bottom of the river.
Whoa!
Like, it was thrown so hard. Then we had one come from our right hand side, and then one from our left hand side, and they all landed in the exact same spot. And I said, "Okay, Stace, what do you say?" I think that's our cue. And Stacy is more, what do you want to say? A little more gutsy than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a tough lady. I love that.
Very, very. And she said, let's just take a walk, and we'll stay away from the river area, but let's take a walk and just see what we can find.
Mm-hmm.
So we found there was a mud pit where the hogs had been rooting around, and the hog tracks all over the place. And there was tracks, Bigfoot tracks, that I was familiar with, and I had walked around the mud hole, and they obviously had been on the hogs looking for a scent, So Travis Bowen, one of my associates, while I was on Facebook Live, says, "Well, Jeremiah, take a walk around the mud pit again, see if you can get anything to follow you." So Stacy's like, "Let's do it." So we did. We walked around that mud hole. Lo and behold, fresh track. I turn around and we get back to the starting point, and there is a set of 17-inch tracks behind us, fresh, about
Fresh.
15 feet behind us. So this thing followed us
Interesting.
around that mud hole. Then Travis gets on and he says, Jay, get the hell out of there now. And I said, why? What's going on? And he said, well, you and Stacy had your backs turned. I was looking, I had my phone, scanning around, and I had my head turned. She wasn't paying attention. He said that thing popped its head out behind the tree and gave you a very, very malevolent glare.
Oh.
And I said, okay. I said, now it's time to go. Well, on our way back on the trail, Stacy's like, let's go dark. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't want me to turn the light, put the light on?
She's so brave. I love that.
It's unreal. So it was the moon was nice and bright, so we were able to find our way down the trail. And as I get to the end of the trail, I turn my light on. Okay. And as I pick my light up, and I have a video of this too, I should have sent it to you. That big fluorescent set of blue eyes pops up about 9 feet in the air. And I don't know if it was that same one, that same gray one, or another one, but he followed us out as well. That particular one followed us out, which was, kind of, and that's they look like. So, they were, like I said, they're about 9 feet off the ground. So yeah, it could have been the same one. But I didn't see any silhouette or anything. It's weird because I had my light on it, so why wouldn't I see a body? It was just those big blue eyes, which
that is so odd. It's like the eye shine, the eye glare. I mean, but was there anything to make their eyes shine, or they're like self-illuminating, correct?
They are anyone that doesn't think they can self-illuminate their eyes is out of their mind. I have seen it.
They can. Yeah.
I have seen it several times. I used to think, you need to shine a light in their eyes to get eye shine back. That's not the case. They can do it at will.
That's right.
They can do it at will. Yeah.
That's right. And you're a boots on the ground researcher. I'm a boots on the ground researcher. I was out there last night, as a matter of fact, and had my kid out there. And I had my kid. It was very safe, everybody, though. It was safe. I had my team. We were protecting this kid. We didn't leave base camp last night, actually. So
right.
But yeah, you I don't know. There's just, you get to know what you get to know in these things. Okay.
Yeah.
And the area that we go to in North Carolina was not your regular stomping ground, right?
No,
this was somewhere out of your normal territory.
Exactly. And that's why people ask me, why you and Stacy? And I don't know. I really,
old blue eyes decided he liked you. That's why.
Yeah. This might sound a little crazy to some people, but I think once you have activity with a group of Sasquatch, like we have, had interactions with the family group on our land, I think these things pick up on something about you. Stacy has abilities. I'm an empath. So, I think they pick up on that kind of thing. I really do.
Oh,
and
yeah. Totally.
And it's years worth of experience knowing where to go and what to look for and all that, And if they want you to see him, you're going to see him. If they don't want you to see him, you're not going to see him.
That's right.
And that's all there is to it, So, and down in that area where we were researching, even after that Bigfoot sighting, the gray one, there was lights in the sky after, and which Nick and I have found over our years of research, 90%, about 94% of people during, before, or after a Dogman or Sasquatch encounter, they report lights in the sky, an orb, or some type of craft. So, this stuff's correlated.
Absolutely. I can't tell you the amount of orbs that we have seen out in the field.
Oh my God.
I was explaining to my son this morning about an orb that, we have different fields that we go to in this area that we research. I saw an orb that showed up over the tree line one night. It looked like the moon. And it
Yep.
just kind of started slowly descending behind the trees, like
Mm-hmm.
going behind the trees, like a
Right.
flare gun had been shot off and it was like kind of going down. It was
Yeah.
so weird. I mean, we have orbs that will like turn into triangular
Yes.
formations and chase us.
Yes.
And it's wild. And they're all different types, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
They're like they're see-through. Some of them are metallic. They're
Yep.
they're all different colors.
Yep.
It's weird.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and I got you have the video of the orb that I sent you a while ago, a few months ago. Now, what happened after the Sasquatch encounter? We were down there another few weeks later, and we had some activity. We got a really good recording of some really deep bellers, cross between a guttural beller and a yell and a howl thrown in there too altogether. Before the vocalizations went off, there was a red orb floating around.
Okay.
And right after that red orb disappeared, we started hearing the "Whoa," and then you'd hear them snarl, growl.
Yeah.
And that night, after the vocalization ceased, about a half an hour after that, Stacy and I are making our way out, and we notice an orange orb. Okay, and it was about 60 feet away from us and about 30 feet in the air. Okay, and Stacy started to communicate with it. And
Yeah.
every time she would ask it a question, it would get bigger. And then it would shrink again. Get bigger, then shrink again. So obviously there's some sort of intelligence there.
Yeah.
You know,
I
there's
think
got to.
so.
Yeah, absolutely. And it followed us around until we got out of the swamp, and it followed us around for about an hour. It just followed us, and Stacy said she got a very not malevolent, but almost like the way she described it was a trickster kind of vibe off it.
Yeah.
Like it was not like I said, not malevolent, but not exactly you know a saint either.
Right.
There was just something that weirded her out about it. And when she has those feelings, I trust her like I would you. What you could do.
Yeah.
So
I've
that was
actually seen I've seen an orange orb recently, okay,
really
over the past few months. It was the first time I'd actually seen an orange orb before, or orange.
okay.
It was like an orange flash of light through the tree line when we
Yep.
were out in this place that we call the UFO field. Uh,
Okay.
but it's where we do Bigfooting research,
Right.
and I had two people with me, and the guy that was with us, he was looking past my shoulder, and I was looking past his, and he saw an orange orb behind me, and I saw one in the tree line behind him around the
Right.
same exact time. And as I saw mine, I heard a hoof, like
Mm,
a deep growl and a huff all
okay.
together, and knowing what I know about that area, I grabbed my flashlight to make sure we made sure there wasn't a bear.
Right.
Okay. I was actually doing some tracking with my son this morning and today out in that same area today, and we did find bear tracks. And my
Right.
son was able to track a bear this morning or this
Oh
afternoon.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but so we know there's bears, but there was no bear there. It wasn't a bear, Jeremiah. Um,
Right.
but
Right.
there's a connection between orange orbs and Sasquatch.
Absolutely.
It's a common theme.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I never used to believe in take 10 years ago. I was more of the the monkey camp, the ape camp, but
Primate in the woods.
exactly. There's way more to it than that,
Yeah, there is.
and I had to experience things for myself before I stepped away from that.
Yeah.
There's just way more to it. The things they can do. You'll find one or two tracks in the middle. I found, tracks in the middle of snowfields. Okay, dead of winter, 2 feet of snow, no trees around. One track here, 5 feet away, another track the opposite foot, and then they just disappear. Well, where did this thing go?
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
it's crazy.
portals? I don't know. Somewhere.
Well, physics is proven. There's what 12 dimensions.
Mhm.
So there's I truly, I'm to the point in my life in doing this stuff that I believe they are some sort of interdimensional being.
That's why we're friends, Jeremiah. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
So it's one of the reasons. Okay.
One of the reasons, right?
It's just one of the perks to being friends. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that there's some sort of interdimensionality type of aspect to these beings. Absolutely. And they're able to travel through portals or something, because there's just the more you go out there and you do the boots on the ground research like you and I do, the more you see you can't figure it out. It's really hard to figure out what's going on out there. I don't think there's any experts on it. Nobody really knows for sure. But a lot of us are trying to figure it out, so, and all we can do is kind of tell our stories and put our stories together.
Exactly. And I'm a strong believer in helping other people. I'll get reports and people need help, and I go check it out and I do what I can for them, and people don't think these things are real until they see one, and then that's a life-changing experience for them.
That's right.
I've interviewed hundreds of people over the years, and it's just, some people, they've talked privately with me, but I've had people start crying and hang up the phone, not call me back. And, I had one guy last week tell me that I contacted that, I heard someone told me when they were hunting in the southern tier of New York State, he had a Sasquatch encounter. And the friend, he came back white as a ghost to the group of his friends he was with. And they busted this guy's chops, Jess, for 25 years. And they had never let it go. They still bust on him till this day. And he said, I tried to get him on the show. And he said, Jeremiah, I can't. And it scared him. It scared him to death. It was bad. And,
well, you know what? I feel like he would probably have more support than naysayers at this point, I think. I mean, but that would just be with people online and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say at this point he would. But he's just so
traumatized.
Traumatized by the experience, for one.
Yeah.
And then second, by his closest friends in the world, just busting his chops, picking on him. And what are you on LSD? What do you, come on,
there comes a point where we got to quit caring what people think. But, you and I both have a very strong support system. You have an amazing wife and great friends. And we have people in the in the arena, people that are fellow researchers that really, we all support each other. And
absolutely,
we're not going to let one little weird naysayer. Naysayer. I know. Listen, I was up all night Bigfooting. Okay. So, or in the kind of Bigfooting with my son, but anyways, naysayers, you can't let those people stop you. Okay.
No.
And it's just, it is what it is, or else we never put our stories out there if we allowed that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So back to North Carolina. It escalated from there.
You had a reptilian sighting too. Like, what the heck? Tell me about. Okay, you got a Dogman and a reptilian. We got to cover both of these before the show's over tonight.
Absolutely. The reptilian incident happened first. Okay.
Let's hear that.
That night, we were down at the trestle, and we were standing on top of the bridge. Okay, and out from walking in the creek, I heard bipedal footsteps. And this is 2.5-3 feet of water moccasin, alligator infested water.
Ew, my favorite. Just kidding.
Right.
It's horrible.
What kind of human being, first of all, is going to be walking around there in that type of water that late at night, at 2 a.m, walking through the bayou?
Not many. Not to say it doesn't happen, but there's drugs involved or something.
Exactly. Something.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, we heard the footsteps, and definitely bipedal. And I said, I don't see any. We had our lights out and everything. We didn't see anything, but we could still hear this thing walking through the water, and we could not figure out what was going on. So I said, okay, I'm going to start filming. You start flashing still shots. And I hit record on the video, started recording, and I said, okay. I said, I don't know. I didn't see anything on the camera or anything. and Stacy had been taking snapshots. So once we got home, we broke into the footage. Lo and behold, on the video, which you have, you see this creature walking out, and he comes out right away, starts walking under the bridge. It's a gray reptilian, bipedal reptilian looking creature carrying a dead wild boar.
Yes. I have the video, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
I could not get it to upload to StreamYard.
Oh,
I'm
you
so
couldn't?
sorry.
Oh, that's too bad.
I could not. Whatever it's the file or whatever, I guess it wouldn't
Yeah.
upload.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to figure out how to get that out to let
How
the
to get
public
that
see it at
on
some
there?
point.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
But
figure out, because I'd actually like you to remote view that if you could, for me to figure
oh
out what
yeah,
it was, because I don't know what it was, Jess. It looked very reptilian looking.
it did.
Had the I mean, you've seen it, yeah.
I've seen it.
You
It
saw the
did.
snapshot, and that was a big wild boar it was carrying too. I mean, I would say it was a couple 100 pounds at least. I know I personally, and I consider myself a pretty strong dude. I'm not going to carry a 200-pound boar in my arms like this through 2.5 feet of water, let alone on open
No,
ground.
those things
So
are heavy. Those are super
absolutely,
heavy too.
and they're fierce. So in this thing, I'm guessing it had killed it. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
in order to kill a full-grown wild boar like that, you got to be a pretty bad dude. Barehanded.
I know. I mean, and that's the same with a lot of these like Sasquatch videos we see, like the Independence Day footage of the
Yes.
mama Sasquatch carrying the baby through the boulder field. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, if that were a joke or somebody trying to pull off a hoax, that would be really hard to do that. First of
Absolutely.
all, you'd be putting a child in danger,
Yeah.
okay, for that. And it would, I don't know. Listen, my son was walking on rocks. He was doing that grounding thing today with my
Mhm.
teammate Keith. They were barefoot,
Yeah.
okay, walking through the forest,
Sure.
and we were hiking, and I was afraid it was going to hurt his feet, but he's tough as nails, man. They're both tough as nails. But it hurts. They were still out saying ouch, stepping on holly
Yeah.
leaves and things. Some of these videos, it'd just be so hard to fake
To fake.
with
Yeah.
the ease of how these things move.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
all. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you put it for the Independence Day footage. That thing
Mhm.
move. I've seen Sasquatch up close and personal. It moves like a squatch. It looks like a squatch. It's a squatch. That's all
It's
there is
a
to it.
Sasquatch.
People
That's
can say
right.
what they want, that it's a hoax or whatever. It's not. This thing was built
Probably not.
perfect. Built perfect. Moved like one. Acted like one. It was one. Period.
I
Period.
think so. Yeah, I used to dismiss every Sasquatch video I saw because I was like,
Mhm.
"This is just fake. It's all fake." Now we gotta worry about the CGI stuff now,
Yes.
but also I think that there's a whole lot of more authentic videos coming out as well. So it's just
Absolutely.
weird how it's all mixed in right now. It's like
It
it's
is.
hard.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after we saw that, after well, we didn't see it, until we got home. But after we heard it pass under the bridge, the footsteps, all these lights. You watched the video. Did you see all the lights come down and that orb float around for a while?
Yeah.
That white orb,
Oh, yeah.
flew around after the reptilian had disappeared. Those lights came down, which
And
is another rabbit
it
hole.
makes you wonder, like, okay,
Yeah.
so are orbs like is it I don't know. It's almost like some people say that like maybe it's the Bigfoots turning into the orbs turn into the Bigfoots or the reptilians or whatever. It's some sort of like a vessel for their I don't know.
It's
It's so
something.
weird, right?
Related. It's related. It's related. I've
Yeah.
actually heard stories of Bigfoot throwing orbs at people. Um, and same with Dogman. And that's, I'll come to that next. The area we were in, Nick, my partner, Nick Valenti, uh, he's the one that brought this to my attention, that the area we were in at the time, he had been there before on a Dogman case, and it was the Dogman activity in that area we were in eastern North Carolina, is very heavy in that area. And he spent time in the same town that we lived in, and we never knew it. he was down there actually at the same time I was, and we didn't even know it. When we had first moved there, before Nick and I got really tight, he had been there. And
cool.
When we started working together, we talked about it, and he said, Jay, that area is infested with dogmen. So one night we're walking to the spot, okay, and before you get to the trestle, there's a cornfield, okay, on the right next to the road. So I turn and I look into the cornfield, and you see 4 sets of eyes. I sent you that video too, but it's awful grainy, but you can see them. Now, when I saw these, as soon as I saw the eyes, they all scattered. Poof. They scattered, and you can see the corn part, and they take off in different directions. Stacy had her camera out. I had mine out. Now, the one she was looking at was standing straight up, just glaring at her, just staring at her. And the one I was looking at had went down from 2 legs to 4 legs. Okay. And as I'm filming, I look, and above its snout, I would say about 10 inches, is a big dang orb.
I think I have a picture of that here.
That's the still shot.
Is this what I'm looking at?
Yep.
Okay, it's a still shot
that's
from the video, because I couldn't get the videos to upload, y'all. I'm so sorry.
That's the still shot. Yeah, you can see, the dark eye. You can see the arms wrapped around the hog. You can see the shoulder. And listen, we heard this thing walking through the swamp. We just did not see it. Even with our camera and lights on, we did not see it. So it had cloaked itself. It was able to hide itself from us somehow, and so, and after that, like I said, all the lights came down and everything, but that's the still shot right there. Yeah.
Wow.
And
so that was a dogman that had a bunch of lights, orbs, all this other stuff. It was all in one big cluster of high strangeness. All happened all at one time
in this area. Well, the dogman incident was a different night than the reptilian. That was a different night. Okay. But still, it's all in that little area, and you had all this phenomenon going on in that one area. Just amazing. But like I said, the one got on all 4s, okay, and had that orb, balancing the orb. And I said, Stacy, are you watching this? She goes, no. She goes, I'm looking at the one that's standing on 2 legs staring at me. And then she pointed out, she said, Jay, look up. Do you see that? And Jess, we looked up, and there was a craft in the air. There was a craft. Wow. And the craft just shot away, disappeared, shot away. After that, all sorts of lights come streaming down. Blue lights. And then the dogmen were gone. We didn't even see them take off. They were gone.
Do you think that dogmen could be extraterrestrial?
I've thought about that, and I'm open to all possibilities. I'm open. Yeah. I'm open-minded to everything. I think they're definitely, interdimensional. They could be extraterrestrial. I know a lot of the guys I do research with, they think they're more spiritual,
Well, I think that I think it's a little bit of all of it.
I do too. I think it's all correlated. Yeah.
Because there's just too much to it. There's just too much. They're not all just flesh and bone and blood.
Exactly.
We're not just flesh and bone and blood as humans. No. Like we're spiritual beings. We are supernatural. A lot of us have extra sensory, or enhanced human capabilities and things like that. And we utilize it. And I think it's just that not everybody knows how to utilize that stuff.
Right. Exactly.
And portals. You got to think, Jeremiah. I mean, I think my team, we've encountered a portal, probably a lot of portals.
Yes.
And I think that they're utilizing these portals too.
I do too.
That's my opinion.
I do too. And in that spot we were in North Carolina, I think we were dealing with one there. Absolutely dealing with one there, because one day we went down there, and I had forgotten. I don't know if I ever told you about this before, but we saw some sort of bird, okay, no more than 30 feet above us. And Jess, if I was to say the wingspan was 10 feet, I'd be underestimating. It was
Really?
not a eagle. It was not a hawk. It looked more like a condor. And it flew over the top of us and was just flew away. And it's nothing I've ever seen before. My ancestors, my Mohawk ancestors, talk about the Thunderbird,
Yeah.
and I think the Thunderbird is a very legitimate creature. I think it's the real deal. You have people describing 20-foot plus wingspans,
Oh yeah.
credible people, and back to credibility. When we were down there in North Carolina, we got to make friends with a really good friend. He's still a good friend of mine. He was a police officer. And he was going patrolling one day in around the same area where we did our research, and he had a Sasquatch run across the road in front of him, caught it on his
Okay.
dash. Well, he was visited the next day at the police station, his sheriff in the room with him, but two other gentlemen. Okay. They told him, if you value your career, you will forget about this incident. If anyone asks, it was a bear. Yeah, a bear, a 9-foot bear running on two legs, built like a bodybuilder. No. But yeah, he said they got rid of the dash cam footage and everything, and they told him, you're going to ruin your career if you talk about this.
Wow.
And he caught so much grief from that. He quit his job at the police station, and he moved from North Carolina back to Michigan. He caught so much grief from it, and now
Wow.
he is hooked. He's hooked on the subject. He called me the other day and he said, Jeremiah, you got to come to Michigan because I've got some weird stuff happening here, and I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So
It's a shame, Jeremiah. Imagine if people just put it in their reports,
yep.
stated the facts as they know it. We might have some more answers to this stuff. But
exactly. Unfortunately, unfortunately, there's just a lot of people are still afraid to come forward, and I've always said for every one report I get, there's 20 I'm not getting. I'm actually working a case right now up here. A girl in a town called Bombay, which is down the road from me a little ways. She was inside her house and she was fixing a lamp, and she needed to get a screwdriver out of the garage. And this was back in March, so we still had snow up here and ice. And right behind their house is a swamp, and she heard ice crunching and water. She grabbed the flashlight, shined the flashlight, and there, standing there, is an upright, she said probably 8-9 feet, pure black creature. She's not familiar with the Dogman phenomenon, so she said, Jeremiah, all I can say it was an upright dog, German Shepherd, pointed ears, long snout, only difference being long arms like a human being, and it had the haunches like a dog, the backward haunches like a dog. It didn't bother her. It looked, when she lit it up, it turned and it booked in the other direction. So I'm in the process of working on that case and writing up a report right now on it. I've still yet to go check out the area, but that's going to be within the next week or so. I'm going to get down there and check it out because that area is very very squatchy, and I've had more than one Dogman encounter come out of that little area as well.
And imagine somebody seeing that, not knowing what a Dogman is, never hearing about a Dogman, and seeing an upright German Shepherd with human arms.
Yes, with long claws.
I imagine how traumatic that is and how weird that is.
She was very shaken up.
I can imagine.
She was supposed to meet with Nick and I one night on a 3-way call, but she was so traumatized from this experience that she said, Jeremiah, I can't do it tonight. I don't. She's unfortunately, and I know these people. I know them. The gentleman used to work for my father, so I know the people. Very credible people, good church going, good people. No reason to make this story up. especially when you're not in the community and you're not a researcher, you're not an investigator, you're not going to make something like that up, Jess.
No.
Most people anyway.
No,
And,
not most people.
Not most people. And if someone was to whip up a story to get some attention, you would think it would be about a Bigfoot and not a Dogman. But she said, 8-9 foot, black, pure pitch black, red eye shine, German Shepherd with long arms way below the knees, long claws, and backwards haunches like a dog.
Oh my gosh.
He said it moved away with such speed. It was unbelievable.
How important is it for you to meet face to face with the people whose encounters you're investigating?
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important because it's easier to tell if someone is full of it when you're in. That. I mean, when you're in person, you can tell if they're full of it or not. And you and I have been both doing this long enough. You can tell when someone's telling you a whopper. And I have heard a lot of whoppers over the years, but
I know. Well, with my team, what we do is when we get reports in, and I'm very hesitant. I don't take a lot of investigative reports. Right. Some of the other guys on my team do, or they used to. Like everybody's kind of backed off of a lot of this because like we know that Bigfoots are there now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Like it's not like we're still trying to solve the mystery. Like they're there. Okay. We know there are Bigfoots. We've kind of moved on to either other things or the guys are just kind of, it's just morphing, like our teams are all morphing.
Sure.
I'm on 3 different teams. But one of my teams with the guys I was with this week, out in the field, in the woods, what we'll do is if we get reports, and I was contacted by a state ranger here in Georgia at one of the state parks who was having multiple Bigfoot sightings over a month period. It was like 9 or more, I guess. Wow. And he contacted me personally through a friend of mine.
Okay.
And got in touch with me, and he seemed very credible, but it was just a lot of stuff. It was a lot for like that short amount of time. And so what my team does, we send a scouting group out, like a couple of people, maybe two or 3 people, and we'll go investigate. And then we'll send the whole team out if we really feel like there's a lot of activity there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we 3 of us went out there, and we got a tour of the entire property, and with all the stories, and there were some, we spent 2 or 3 days there. Okay. And we didn't have any activity there, so we didn't bring the whole group out, right. But that's kind of how I guess that's how I don't know what you call it. We kind of decide if we're going to go out there or not by sending a small group out first.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So. I get it. Yeah. One thing I forgot to mention, underneath this trestle one day, I went down early in the day. I was off of work. I went down early, and there was tracks by the water again. These were bigger. These were 16-inch tracks. And
16, that's pretty big.
Oh yeah. Pretty big.
It's bigger than a human's foot usually.
Oh yeah. So you could see where it had taken steps into the water too. So it had been there right before I was there, because you could still see the tracks in the water. The water hadn't dissolved the tracks yet, the ones that were inside the water. You could see where it had stepped into the water, walked down into the middle of the creek, and there's pillars holding up the trestle, and there's a platform about 7 feet in the air, or 7 feet on the connecting the pillars, and on top of the pillar, on top of that platform, is a dead alligator, about a 4-foot alligator with a big bite mark taken out of its neck.
Oh,
now you tell me what's going to do that.
Oh my gosh! Taking out his neck. I mean, it's a predator eating a predator.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Exactly. So whatever, and aside from that, whatever was in there had to be tall enough. You got to figure 3 feet of water it's standing in. Had to have been tall enough to reach up and put this thing on this platform, which was between 7 and I never got a correct measurement on it because I wasn't walking in that water. I'll tell you that much. Water, moccasin, alligator infested water. I wasn't going in there. Whatever this thing wasn't afraid to be in there and take a bite out of a dang alligator and throw it on top of that platform.
Oh my gosh!
I went back the next day.
It was like a shark. Do you think there's a shark in there?
Right? Yeah, it's either a shark
Maybe a
that just come
Jaws?
up that small creek, or some sort of. I personally think it was a Sasquatch, because they were
Yeah,
Sasquatch tracks leading
could
into
be.
the water, and I went back the next day to check to see if it was still there, and it was gone. It was gone.
Wow.
And
Oh
even
my
though it was a
God.
small, even though it was a small alligator, it's still, it was pretty good size, and I sure as heck couldn't get out there and throw that thing up there, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it was thrown up in the air, like thrown up high. So
yeah,
it couldn't
like
really be a bull shark or like a fresh
no,
because I'm with Steven. Like I've heard about sharks going in the fresh water,
oh
like
sure,
rivers and
sure,
stuff.
in the brackish water, yeah,
But how's it going to get flung up there? I don't know.
exactly.
It defies logic, right? It
It
defies
totally
logic.
defies logic. Yeah,
All of this defies logic. Most of the
absolutely.
stuff we talk about and we experience.
And I think that's the fun part.
I know, that's why we're doing it. And we're out here having fun doing it. Do you know if the bite was fairly clean or was it
it
rugged?
it was a very embedded really deep into the neck, and it was bit out, and it was pretty clean. It was pretty
Yeah.
clean. It didn't
Okay.
look like it had been torn apart by anything with canines, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
It was a clean bite, like we would take out of a piece of steak. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But
Yes.
it was half a circle shaped bite. Very, very wide, extremely wide.
Wow.
So yeah, I know.
Scary.
I know in my guts it was a Sasquatch that I
Yeah.
know I know it was.
Eating that
Especially with the
gator
tracks
meat.
leading into the water. It was a Sasquatch that did it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of high strangeness in North Carolina,
Oh, absolutely.
and my team, we have investigated that area, especially even the Uwari area. That's the
Yep.
place that became very popular after that show. I think it was Finding Bigfoot or something.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of us backed away from going up there because there were
Yeah.
so many tourist type,
Yeah.
Bigfoot hunters and stuff. I say
Right.
tourist type, it's like because it was very popular and it
Sure.
was teeming with Bigfoots back in the day.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
so much today.
Right. Right.
Wonder why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, North Carolina is an area of high strangeness. I mean, I've been
It
up
is.
there and I've studied the Judicola Rock area and the giants up there. And I mean,
Mhm.
there's the sky ships over cachers and all that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. We used to we were right near the Croatan National Forest, which is
okay.
also very, very a lot of heavy activity in the Croatan. A lot of, Dogman sightings, a lot of Bigfoot sightings, other entities, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's an active area. It's like, and some people have a hard time accepting the fact that I deal with this stuff up here too, and like I said, I don't know. I don't know why me, why Stacy, a lot of people say it's because you have Native American in you. That could be part of the connection. Um,
I think it's because you're on a frequency to
I
be
do
able to
too.
see it. I
Yeah.
think it has something to do with energy, frequency, and
Yep.
vibration.
Yep.
I'm convinced, Jeremiah, and I think that's why a lot of us have encounters when other
Yes.
people may not. You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly. Yeah, and I have been hit with infrasound before, and it made me brutally, brutally sick.
really.
Yeah, I was leaning against a tree, and I had my infrared, and I was scoping the area, and I could sense something behind me, and I turn around real quick, and I see a brown flash run by me. All of a sudden, I got nauseous. I started to vomit. When I was done vomiting and was able to get up, my equilibrium had all been thrown off, and I had a ringing in my ear. So I truly believe I was zapped by this thing. I think we might have
Wow.
interrupted a hunt, and it wanted to just subdue me.
Yeah. Oh my
So,
gosh. Well,
and that was right behind the cabin.
wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, gosh, that's why there's a lot of dangers that go into this Bigfoot stuff. Okay, so
absolutely.
we gotta be careful out there. White Eagle Videos in the chat says my dad saw a Bigfoot in eastern North Carolina back in 1927.
Okay. Yeah.
They go back, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of wild man reports too around North
Yes.
Carolina.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
A lot of wild man, like the feral people. You mean? Is that what
Feral.
you're?
Well, it kind of feral. Well, like the Neanderthal type Sasquatch guys,
Okay.
that kind
Yes.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Probably feral people too.
Kind of like a type
There's all
4.
sorts of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're saying. The wild man. Yeah.
The wild man.
Yep.
Yes, there's a lot of wild men. We mean like the wild hairy men, y'all. That's what
Yep.
we're talking about.
Wild hairy man. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, Jeremiah, okay, so we have pretty much come to the end of the
Oh
show
my God! It
tonight.
went
It
so
went
quick.
by so
Oh my
fast.
God.
I am not going to end the show tonight before I tell you happy birthday.
Thank you, Jess.
And also happy Father's Day, Jeremiah. And
so much.
I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Thank
I
you.
know
That means a lot from you, Jess. I consider you an ally and a close, like a sister. So.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
That means a lot to me.
Well,
Nick
ditto.
and I think very, very highly of you.
Well, thank you. And I think highly of both of y'all. And I just love you to death. I can't wait to meet Stacy someday. And
Yes.
And I want to bring Stacy on the show because you guys have some good stories together.
Yes, she's more than willing. Come on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. And just one more thing before we go. I'd love to, if we can set something up where you could remote view the reptilian thing for me.
Shoot, yeah.
And then maybe we can turn that into a show in itself and tell everyone what your
you got it.
Were.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We'll get that video uploaded, and we're gonna do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Val, I feel you. My shows end way too quickly. I know that. I know. It goes by like a flash of lightning. Jeremiah, everybody is in the chat saying happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
Where can people find your shows? Plug your shows really quick. And let's tell everybody where to find your shows.
Shout out to my partners, my big brother. I consider Nick a big brother, Nick Valenti. Great guy. My brother, my partner, Gary Spikes Jr. And all the other guys I do research with. Shane, for one. Shane's a great guy. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes again. But give a shout out to them, and people can, you can reach me on Messenger. Go to my homepage on my Facebook account. You can email me at onthetrail.jf@gmail.com, or internationaldogman.ny.jf@gmail.com. The YouTube channel is called the Paranormal Encrypted Crossroads Research.
Yep. There we go. I got it on the screen right there.
Awesome.
And you have two different shows, right? You have On the Trail in Search of Living Legends.
That's correct.
And you also have your new show, The Cryptid Consortium. Oops.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's with Nick. And
that's with Nick and Gary Spikes Jr.
And Gary Spikes. Is it Junior, right?
Yep, Junior.
Okay, awesome. That's a great show.
Yeah.
All your shows are great.
I appreciate that, as well as yours are, Jess.
Well, thank you.
I always enjoy coming on with you. It's a blast.
Thank you. Well, I enjoy having you on. We have great conversations. This has been awesome.
Absolutely.
We totally do. Everybody, please go subscribe to Paranormal Encrypted Crossroads Research, okay? And find Jeremiah on Facebook with the International Dogman Project as well, everybody. Okay. And go give them a subscription and a follow and all that. Jeremiah, we have a whole bunch of people saying happy birthday in the chat. So just happy birthday. Happy Father's Day to you. I will see you next time. Okay. Come back and see me soon. Okay.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Jeremiah. Have a great night. Happy birthday and happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Jess.
All right. See ya. All right, y'all. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I just wanted to say that. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. Right after this show, I think right now, I got Marquise is going live on After Hours here on Space Out Radio. He's taking you on an incredible journey for the next 3 hours. I'm going to see you guys next time, tomorrow night on Off the Trails, right here, same time, same place. You guys, please come back and see me. And we're going to have a great show for y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Bye.